Presently, Forsyth County is operating under a development and building moratorium with respect to certain residential zonings. And that has been going on now for almost a year. And there seems to be no end to it. It was designed as a stopgap to give Forsyth County a breather to be able to catch up with some of the infrastructure needs plaguing the people who already live here. The difficulty is that they haven't tended to any of those infrastructure needs, or very few of them, number one. And number two, there's no end game. They haven't devised a way to resolve the issues that began the moratorium to begin with. My purpose is not just to criticize them, but it is also to offer suggestions that would help alleviate some of these problems. Sooner or later, the moratorium's got to be stopped. So does that mean that then developers and builders are just going to pour in there with all of their applications and all that? Possibly. Well, what needs to happen in order that become orderly and maybe not just a total inundation of applications? And my suggestion is that we actually put some teeth in the tree ordinance. There is a tree ordinance in Forsyth County. The problem is that the tree ordinance has loopholes, and the loopholes allow for mass clearing and grading for Res 3, which many of these developments are, and mass clearing and grading is also happening in Res 2. What's mass clearing and grading? Mass clearing and grading is when a developer goes in there and takes out all of the trees anywhere affecting the construction and engineers the pad levels for each of these slab homes, so that essentially they're beginning construction on all of the homes, but during the development phase. So they can go in there a lot less expensively if they take out all the trees. The difficulty with all of that is that you don't have any trees left, number one. And number two, there are developments like on the backside of where I live, where they've gone in, they've carved into Sawney Mountain about 40 feet in order to create a flat tabletop to step down all these slab homes. And each one of these slab homes has got a designed elevation so that they can make sure that everything's going to work. Look, if a developer wants to develop on that property and the zoning will allow it, there's not much anyone can do about it. But the county does not have to allow developers to go in and mass clear and grade. Back when I was building in the subdivisions, back in the 90s, back in the olden days, a developer only had the ability to clear and grade for the roads or for specific drainage areas or sewers. They didn't go in there and clear out all of the trees. In fact, they would charge more for the tree lots because they were more desirable. That means that they can't get the density that the modern national builders want to satisfy their stockholders. They have to pack these houses so close together. This is a key to understanding how we resolve the growth issue in Forsyth County. We do not allow mass clearing and grading, which means that the national builders can't get the density that they want, and in which case, in some instances, in perhaps a lot of instances, they will opt not to develop a piece of property because they cannot get the return on it that they need for their stockholders. That's what it's all about. So that means that when the property is developed, it will have to be developed with a much less density. Two things will contribute to that: the overall design of the subdivision, in other words, the extremities of the subdivision, but also the terrain, because you can't just go in there, alter the terrain, flatten it all out anymore, because you got to leave the trees in there, like in the olden days. That's the key to understanding how we moderate the growth in District 1 in Forsyth County, because District 1 is a special case of Forsyth County because it's not fully developed, not like a lot of the areas in the South that have been destroyed, in my opinion.
Right.
So this area, if we do it right, in 20 years, the kids that are growing up here, when they come back and bring their kids to see grandma and grandpa, they'll be able to find their houses. Not like in the south part of the county or in Fulton County, places where all of this mass clearing and grading has been happening. So to do that, Bill, all we have to do is like change a couple of sentences, not in the zoning categories, but in the tree ordinance. The tree ordinance applies to all of the zoning categories. So you don't have to change someone's zoning. All you have to do is change the tree ordinance and remove the loopholes allowing that. And that is the key, I believe, in being able to release the moratorium and still maintain an orderly growth throughout the district.